Hello everyone, this is Richard here and welcome to ZP Productions. Today will be a review of the AB600-R Nikon edition by Kenko. This review unit is provided by SLR Revolution, the distributor of Kenko in Singapore. And if you want to purchase them, they have both the Nikon and Canon mount available. Now, the flash is actually the world's second AI-powered flash after the Canon 470 AI, but has a more powerful rating of 16 GN rather than the 47 GN you see in the Canon. The flash looks similar to another speedlight, weighing at about 470 grams. The whole package comes with both the flash stand feet and a Omi bounce cap. This flash is actually similar size to most out there. As you can see here, the Godox Wing V860 2 lithium battery flash. The flash itself is powered using the usual 4AA batteries rather than lithium ions, which makes finding and replacing them much simpler. The power of the flash is similar to its competitors of similar GNs. And as you can see here, at the high end of zoom, it is more powerful than the Godox, which is flashing first. And at the lower end of the zoom, it is about 1/3 of a stop weaker. And now, talking about the zoom, the AB600 has a zoom range from 20 to 200 mm with a built-in diffuser that reduces it to 18 mm. This range is perfectly fine and will cover for most people who does events and weddings. In terms of refresh rate, my initial test shows that the Kenko could actually keep up with the Godox flash, which is rated for a whole 2 seconds faster due to its lithium batteries. Now, after some testing, I confirmed that the Kenko flash actually had two states. One is a red state, which is fully charged and maximum power, and the other, which is a green state that appears slightly before the red state, that allows the flash to be fired at just 2/3 the strength, but at a refresh rate of almost a second faster. In terms of color temperature, this flash is rated for 6200 to 6500 from my measurements. This is relatively a good performance, and in fact slightly better than the Godox, which have a slightly bigger spread of 6300 to 6700. However, for the purpose of mixing light with the two speed lights itself, there is probably no differences because 100 Kelvin at that range is probably not significant to most of us. Now, moving on to its more interesting AI features, the flash is said to be able to calculate which angle is the best for bounce. After some testing, I conclude the flash does do some calculations, but the number of angles it could take is limited. On activation of the AI function, there are always two pre-flashes regardless of the position it's at, before the flash head moves into its final position. In my test, the bounce is always properly applied and the power is always sufficient, which means if a subject is further away, the flash will point forward, and if the subject is nearer, the flash have a tendency to point backwards for its bounce. This does definitely take out some form of computation away from the user and removes the need for guessing is there enough power on the bounce itself, which is really common if the ceiling is high. The bounce can also select whether you want left or right, which will give a slightly different shadow profile for your subject. The best part of the flash though is not its AI function, but its ability to maintain its head position regardless of portrait or landscape orientation. This will always ensure the flash is pointing towards the ceiling, regardless of landscape or portrait, and ensure a proper bounce is done. Now, if you don't do the bounce, the head is actually a fully motored head. As such, it is friction, an ability to hold any angle you want as long as you move the head towards it. And this head can actually position significantly backwards, as you can see here. As you can see here, the flash head has a typical light pattern you see in the speedlight, which is this rectangular and long light. And this is zoomed in at 200 mm. Now, if you zoom out, beyond the lens itself, this is a light of 24mm and you can see it is relatively even throughout the scene. In terms of flashlight consistency from shot to shot, I can say that the flash is quite consistent even in TTL as a main or a fill light, as you can see with the following photos below. Variation between the shots are relatively low as long as the flash is not maxed out in power and therefore not able to produce enough light for the scene. Overall, the flash is actually quite good of a value considering that first parties flashes normally cost way more. And the Kenko flash itself is really well built. If you want to compare it, it is a step up above the Godox. Now, with all the AI functions that you have and ability to maintain the flash head orientation to the ceiling consistently, this flash is definitely useful for event and wedding photographers, and it's definitely a decent investment if the flash supports the brand of camera you are using. I hope you enjoyed this video here, and do press the like and subscribe button if you want to see more in the future.